All right, you guys. So, oh gosh, school is back in session. Now what? I remember when my kids were younger and playing sports, and they might get something, or they would trade shoes with people, or just like the smell of the locker room and the gym bags. And it was pretty crazy. And not only that, but when they would come home, tired, exhausted, we were going to games that were lasting late at night, and, grabbing whatever carnival food was available. And I just remembered that we did the best that we could. And I know that as school is back in session, we've got kids that are in college, we've got adults that are going back to school, we've got all kinds of different programs and things going. And really, one of the other things was, I'll never forget when my kids moved out and moved away, and when they would call me and they didn't feel good, or they had some kind of a symptom of something, and I didn't have the resources to be able to help them. And now, fast forward with what I know and what I do, I love that I have something that is safe, that's affordable, that's effective. And you guys, it doesn't matter if they're on the band team, swim team, cheerleading, just going to different classes. Like I said, adults that are in class that are relearning or taking advanced classes, we all have different things that we can help with. So tonight, you guys, the goal of this class is to empower you with safe, simple, effective, and most of all, trusted solutions that I would be happy to share with anybody, anywhere. There may be things tonight that we are able to cover and answer some of your questions, but there also may be a lot of things that we don't get the time to cover, because we do want to keep this class short and to the point and very beneficial for you. So at the end of class tonight, we will have a time when we will answer your questions, and we'll just do the best we can with all of that. Now, you can also find the recording of this class. So if you have somebody who could benefit from it, I'm encouraging you to then share this class with other people. You'll be able to share our YouTube link, or also if you're a part of our Good Vibes tribe, you may hear recipes or people talking about certain things that we have a lot of the stuff already in that group, where you can just use the little magnifying glass and go find your solution. Something I really love about having so many years of support and all of the knowledge that is collaborated between a bunch of leaders here is that we have the access and the ability to search and learn different questions any time of the day or night. All you need is access to our platforms. Okay. And let's see, we've got more people who have joined us, so welcome, you guys. We know you guys are busy, so we appreciate you guys being here with us. Also, while I'm teaching, we've got some leaders here. If you have something that you would like to add, just raise your hand, and I'm happy to let you share your testimonials or protocols or ideas. Okay, so one thing I did want to cover really quick is, there are 3 ways that we can use doTERRA. And when we're having these classes and this education, I want to remind you that we are only speaking to doTERRA. I'm not familiar with other essential oil brands, and I don't trust a lot of the other ones that are out there on the market. I do, however, know and use this product every single day in our household. My kids are now all set up with their own accounts, so they are able to use them. And now, fortunately for my little grandbaby, she is getting exposed to essential oils all the time. So you can use them aromatic, which basically just means you're going to put it on you or around you, you're going to smell it, you're going to get the benefit. What I love about aromatic is you can diffuse it and everybody in that area gets to benefit. Or you can also use things like spray bottles, or just put it in different protocols and things where you can benefit. All right, so then we have topical. Now this is anytime you're going to put it directly on the skin, and that would be being able to target directly a symptom that is going on, that you go, gosh, I need something's going on with my feet. We were talking about, things like athlete's foot and stuff like that, or shingles, and we're going to want to be able to put our protocols directly in that spot and that location. The benefit of that is you can get very, very quick results. Now, the last way is internal. Now, you guys, that is one of the things that really stands out with doTERRA and a lot of other products that are on the market is they are safe to ingest. They're not only safe and tested, but they're also many times recommended to take internally, because sometimes our body and what we're going through may be from the inside out. And so, of course, if you put it on topical, you're going to get a result, but you might get a much quicker, better result when they're internal. Now, you can see down here on the right-hand side, there's a way to check your oils. Now, doTERRA, you'll see, has supplemental facts on the outside of their bottle. So if that is on there, you know that it's safe for you guys, and without any kind of concern at all, you can get it out and you can use it in some of the ways that we're going to recommend today. Now, I love being able to put it in water. I love to be able to cook with it. I love to make a capsule. It's like I use them every single day internally. I use them all these ways, you guys. And I wanted to also point out in topical, in the picture in the middle, there's like a little keychain. So you can customize with these little keychains exactly what you might want to send or share with someone. Now, because school is in session, there may be things that come up that you're going, or you want to send a care package, or maybe, as your kids are going through different academics and different things, whether they're learning and studying or they're doing different programs, you'll want to be able to take that little keychain or rollers and things and customize what it is that they're going to need on the go. You want them to have what they need before they need it. And so these are really great ways. You could custom make little roller bottles, you could do sprays, but I love being able to have this grab and go keychain. I also have pretty much been known to make our little on-the-go kits. So we have everything from immunity to, we've got one for hangovers, we've got one for all the symptoms, all in one kit. And again, you can customize those for what you need. So if this is something new to you, make sure you reach out to the person who invited you and say, hey, could you sit down with me and tell me how I can get my hands on some of this stuff? And they also might be able to recommend things for you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is our immune support. Now, you'll see on the bottom, I've got a couple of my favorite recipes. I remember a couple years ago getting a phone call and it's like, oh, Mom, I've got the sorest throat. What am I supposed to do? And I'm like, okay, what oils do you have? What do you have your hands that you could, put? And you guys, as simple as, okay, the recipe for the spiced honey has a lot of different blends and a lot of different oils and things in honey, but you could simply just take some local honey or some real natural honey. So I'm a real avid label reader these days, because so many things that are labeled honey may not even have honey in the bottle. So make sure that you're teaching them that and looking for these things. You're going to get a much better result than the little packet that you find at some fast food restaurant that says honey that has nothing to do with it. So anyhow, they could simply just take it, put the On Guard, put it in the honey, stir it up, put it in their throat, and they would have some really great relief. And as a parent or a friend or a grandmother or even a school teacher, you could make some of these things up, and if you know somebody who's gone off to school and maybe you didn't get to say goodbye, you could send a cute little care package or a box with some of these things. Now, our immune support, we have our entire On Guard line, which I absolutely feel is amazing and a must-have. Everything from the throat drops to our our On Guard wipes. They're sanitizing wipes, and you guys, any surface. So as you're thinking of gym rooms, lockers, dance floors, and gosh, we've got wrestlers, we've got all kinds of different activities, band equipment. If somebody's passing around an instrument, these wipes are going to be really great to just pull the wipe out, wipe down the surface of it. And the best part is that you can instantly use it. So I was listening to a teacher, and she was talking about, going back to school and using different school supplies and cleaning off their desks. And I think this actually I think came from Sarah, and she was saying, wait, you can actually wipe off the desk with the wipe and the kids can sit there and get into their desk immediately. And she's like, absolutely. with the product that they were using, they had to wait because there were chemicals and it was toxic. So, what we know about like hand sanitizers and things, you guys, it's not good for us. There's a lot of things that are out there that are being promoted that don't actually work in our favor. So, you guys get familiar with these products. I've got some really special, exciting news I'm going to share at the end of class on a few of these. Okay, then I'm going to just kind of also point out tea tree. Tea tree is the anti-oil. So think of antifungal, antiviral, anti-itch, anti-burn, anti-scrape, anti-anything that goes on the skin from, your scalp to your lips. Maybe somebody's got some sore mouths or something. Again, going back into the band or, sharing a seat at a locker room. I remember when my kids would go, and we were pretty protective as far as, making sure their clothes were really clean and, all the different things, and their shoes were always clean. And if they stunk, we would get rid of them and get new shoes. And yet there were things that they constantly had because they were being exposed to other kids who would go to school and have something. They would sit on the bench or drink from the fountain or who knows what, and then that just spreads throughout the entire school. So these are definitely ones that you want to have in your arsenal, in your constant toolkit of how do I get to support myself, my family, my friends. And now we are back in school, and what a great gift to be able to give some of those On Guard sanitizing wipes to somebody. Or in a few minutes we're going to be talking about the sanitizer spray. Okay, so one of the things that happens every single year without fail is the little critters that climb all over people's scalps. So one of the things that I want to just assure you guys is that our essential oils do not kill the bugs. Well, I think if you spray it directly on them, they're going to be really unhappy, and it might. But the most important thing is to prevent our scalps and our hair and things from getting exposed to it. There are simple things like this recipe that's on the left-hand side. Tea tree is, again, one of those extremely powerful cleansing and purifying that help to prevent or promote a healthy scalp. And it does repel different insects. Of course, we have lavender, which we know is super great in supporting any of the skin irritation that might occur. I know that if you're part of our Good Vibes Facebook page, we did an entire series on lice prevention and then care if you are exposed to it. So some of the things that we do want to talk about for prevention is, taking your combs and your brushes, your barrettes, your hair ponytail holders, all those different things, and spraying this spray on them. And then, or spraying it directly on the scalp, because when those little bugs are flying around or hopping around, if they smell something that they don't like, they're going to be less likely to jump onto a scalp or jump onto a coat. So a lot of times we'll take this prevention spray and we'll spray it on the jackets, the backpacks, like I said, any of the hair, ties and bows and things like that. I also want to remind you of like helmets. So if the kids are in athletics where they have a helmet or a ball cap, again, you're going to want to spray inside there. And then when the child puts the hat on, it's going to refresh and keep that scalp super protected. Now, in our Good Vibes recipe book, and I know Sarah's on here, I don't know if she is available or not, but we have a couple of recipes that she shared with us. I'm trying to find them in here really quick. And so we have, I know I have it marked. Okay, detangler. So Sarah, oh, there's Sarah. Okay, Sarah, do you have those recipes handy, or do you want me to read them?
Can you read them? We're at football practice. Sorry.
Absolutely. I know. I didn't give anybody any notice on any of this because I was literally putting this together about 10 minutes ago. All right. So in a 16-ounce spray bottle, you'll put 2 tablespoons of hair conditioner, 15 drops of doTERRA's tea tree, and then 15 drops of doTERRA's eucalyptus. Now, another one that we have since this is arborvitae. I think arborvitae would be another really great addition. It not only smells great, but it has the same benefits as the rest. So then you mix it all up into your spray bottle, and you would just spray it onto an area that has been infected, if I'm not mistaken. There are special combs, there are special shampoos, there are special things, and we have all of that in our in Good Vibes. So I encourage you guys, if you guys are somebody that gets exposed to something like this, go in there and just search and look for it. As much as I don't love ChatGPT, I was in such a hurry. I put in some recipes and they came, and I've got like 4 or 5 of their recipes that are in here. And so they're all great information. I did look over them to make sure that they were all compliant and ready and actual. Something that I would use. So we also have another prevention spray that from Sarah, and it's in a 2-ounce spray bottle. You're going to take 8 drops of arborvitae, and cedarwood and eucalyptus, and then you're going to take 4 drops of tea tree, lavender, and geranium. Now you'll fill the bottle up with water and then add a smidge of Epsom salt to hold all that stuff together. And again, you guys, this is about prevention. So anything that you're using on your hair, and I did mention clothes because some of them, I think that's how they have to get started there. I remember a few years ago, well, quite a few years ago, my sister had a relative come and stay at their house, and they had a sleepover in the upstairs of her house with like 15 sleeping bags and kids, and one child had lice, and they didn't know. And every single one of them ended up taking that home with them. So you guys, this is something that the struggle is real. It's there, and we just want to be able to prevent it as much as we can. Once we get it, then we'll use different means. Okay, so the next one, you guys, I want to point out on this slide, there was a study done a few years ago where they had taken a petri dish and it had been exposed with some bacteria. And you can see with the On Guard one, where they have the On Guard in the middle, that there's hardly any bacteria or anything that had spread. In a controlled area, or a controlled dish, and also with Lysol and Clorox, you can see how different it was with them just growing and spreading and how fast it was. So I want to point out one of my favorite things, and I use it all the time, especially when I'm traveling, or like if I'm going to a ball game. Guess what? My hands are getting this On Guard spray on before I go in, and a lot of times I've got it on me where I sit down, and by golly, if somebody that I'm sitting by is coughing or hacking or has something, I'm getting it out and I'm sharing it with them. And then of course we also have the On Guard wipes, and this shows the benefits of each of these products. The wipes are 99.9% effective against most common germs, and so is the sanitizer. Now, athlete's foot and jock itch. These are 2 things that my kids experienced, and I think it's one of those that no matter how much you teach them or talk to them or clean their feet or wash their shoes or whatever it is, they can definitely experience these. So you'll see it in common are some of the oils, like tea tree keeps showing up, lavender keeps showing up. And as I'm talking to you guys and sharing these different recipes and tips on how to be proactive in either let's put the oils on before, like this would be a great roller or even a spray bottle that you could keep in their gym bag, and before they put their gym shoes on or cleats or whatever, dance shoes, they could put that on their feet first before they put their shoes and socks on. And then also for different body parts, making sure, here the tips are on this sheet, of making sure that when you shower that you really dry the area that is affected really well. Wear loose fitting clothes, change your clothes often, avoid wearing airtight synthetic clothes. You guys, cotton is really a healthy, happy way to go when anytime we're doing anything. With if we're using, our castor oil packs, or we're doing foot detox or soaks, we're always talking about using cotton socks, cotton gloves, cotton underwear. I know it sounds weird, but it's like there's so many synthetics and chemicals, and they actually treat a lot of fabrics with chemicals, and it just makes it really bad. Our bodies don't like it. Let's say oregano. A lot of you guys are familiar with oregano, but if you're not, it is one of the hot oils in our collection. And so, I'm just going to say be educated and know how to use it to get the best results. I love thyme oil also for anything going on with the feet. It's also very effective for anything going on in the chest, whether it's phlegm or the congestion or tightness. They're very, very good. And you'll just want to make sure that you dilute it to the proper strength so that it's still effective, but yet you're getting rid of some of the bacteria. Oregano is also one that will target fungus. So you'll see here on the recipe for the athlete's foot, it's 3 drops of tea tree, lavender, 2 drops of lemon, and 2 drops of oregano, and in a roller bottle. And then you fill it up with coconut oil. You could also use castor oil if you want, but it's going to be very effective. And then again, with all remedies and all protocols that we give, consistency is key. You can't use it once or twice and then forget to use it and then go, oh, I don't know why it stopped working, or why it came back, or what happened. And so, we need to be super consistent. And with our kids, I think that the easier we can make it for them to use by putting it all together in a roller. Like if I were to send all 4 of these oils to my kids and say, oh, here's our empty roller, here's the coconut oil, here's this, here's what you do, they're not going to make it. They just aren't. But if I have it already prepared and sent to them, then they will use it. Especially, gosh, when pain is involved, people use this stuff. On guard spray, again, it's one of those things that I would teach them how important it is to have it always, everywhere they go. If they need to put one in their truck, their locker, their backpack, their gym bag, wherever. It's also a great gift for any of the coaches and instructors. Okay, so another thing that happens once we're all back into school, depending on where you are and what your goals are, it can be a little overwhelming. It can be where you feel like, oh gosh, I've got all of this stuff I'm supposed to remember, testing and reading books and, doing reports, and it can just be a little much sometimes. A couple of oils that I want to highlight that so basil is one that may not be in your your little bottle collection kit that you started with, but it is one that you definitely want to turn in your points for, or put on your wish list. Basil is the oil for adrenal fatigue, or also for feeling overwhelmed. So if you or someone is always tired, their energy is really low, they have a hard time concentrating, maybe even sleeping, because they just got too much going on, a couple of drops of basil in the diffuser would be really great. You could add some lemon, which would just smell amazing. You could also put basil on the bottoms of your feet at the beginning of every day, and that's going to really help with that adrenal fatigue and that just overwhelm. Basil is in a few of our blends, like Aroma Touch. It's also in Past Tense. So if you have either of those, you could put those oils on too. Now we also have Intune, and so on this slide I decided that I was going to list out the essential oils that are in them and why they benefit. So Intune is a roller bottle that is 100% pure essential oil. A little tiny bit goes a long ways. So what I do with this is I recommend rubbing it onto the fingertip, and then taking the fingertip and rubbing it like across your forehead or behind your ears. Another great place is at the back of my neck, where my head comes down and meets the neck. There's a really great spot for that. Now it's got patchouli, frankincense, lime, Roman chamomile, and sandalwood. I don't know. Can you guys hear that car music? But oh gosh, it's like anyhow. Uh, Primary benefits helps us to uplift us. So the lime and the frankincense will actually uplift us while it also offers us that gentle calmness. So patchouli is known for like people who meditate, who really want to have that still moment of silence where they kind of get rid of all of the chatter. Sandalwood is also known for its, if you have scattered thoughts and your mind is racing all over the place and you just can't calm it down, sandalwood is amazing for that. So great to be able to study. Just and I'm just going to remind you guys, when you have pure essential oils, a little bit goes a long ways. Now, Thinker comes from our kids collection, which I use as for. I wish it was kids and adults or something, but I love that they have this kit because Thinker has a little brain on it, so it has vetiver, peppermint, clementine, and rosemary. This one is a blend that has been perfectly diluted, so it's ready for anyone to use it. You don't have to worry about using too much. You can just, roll it right on the areas, and it doesn't matter how old. You can use this on toddlers, kids, high school students. Another thing that you could do is roll it into the palm of the hands, cup your hands and put it to your nose, and just take 3 or 4 really good deep breaths. And that's going to open up that mind, go into the brain, tell it what to do, and then send it back. Okay, what now? Okay, so we also have peppermint and rosemary. So rosemary is one they used to call my language Habonics, because there was a time in my life when I just had a lot. And it's like I would speak very, very quickly. My brain would be shooting out information, and I would cross my words or change the letters in the start and the beginning, and they coined it Habonics. What I've been able to do, especially with not being able to learn and study, it's very hard for me. I have to read things over and over to have it make sense. And I was a rosemary enthusiast for a very long time when I found out its benefits for being able to support the brain, especially for like mental fatigue and being able to retain information and to kind of slow that mind down. So I was putting a drop of rosemary on the crown of my head on the top once or twice a day, and I could really start to notice it helped with mental clarity. I also love the fact that rosemary helps for hair growth. So you got to double down on that. It's really, really great. And then you got peppermint, wild orange, you guys. And like I said, we could go on for a long time. There is a diffuser recipe. So while you're studying or while you're learning, or if you've got homework time, or maybe you're in a classroom where you can diffuse, you could make this into the roller bottle and just roll it onto your wrist. Have it where you can put it underneath your nose, or you can also diffuse it. Okay, so sleep. So a lot of times, you guys, people are going, I don't have energy. My mind, I can't hold any information. I don't have, I work out, or not work out, but I go to the sporting events, and my coaches are so tough, and we're having double practices, or I'm really studying hard, and I'm not able to shut my mind down. So this chart I want to share with you guys. I absolutely love it because it's giving us different ideas on when we could use different products for their purpose. So for instance, say when it begins to be time for bed, I'm a firm believer in a bedtime. I'm sure college students are not going to their bedtime, but it's like there are products that they can use when they are ready to settle down. High school is the same thing. It's like, gosh, I look at some of their schedules, and with if they're in any kind of sports or band or anything else, it's like, when are they actually sleeping and when are they getting their nutrition? So I love these products. It gives you some different things. Make sure you're taking a screenshot. The one thing that I can tell you that is easy to get, and I want to remind you guys that with your doTERRA accounts, you can go in at any time and you can create an instant order. You can select where it ships and you can pay for it, or someone else can, you can use somebody else's credit card with permission, and it could ship directly to them. So if I had a college student right now and they were having a hard time sleeping and I wanted to get them, a little goodie bag, I could go into my account, create an instant order, put these things like the Serenity Sleep System. You guys, it's amazing. Like, I use these products every day multiple times, and I think, and I, for instance, my little grandbaby, sometimes she gets overtired. Have you ever experienced being overtired when you get goofy and silly and you just can't shut down? Well, this Serenity Sleep Stick, I, just rolled it across the back of her neck. I put a little bit on her feet, and, within 10 minutes, she was asleep and peaceful, and she slept for about an hour and a half. Now, if you also have somebody who's extremely nervous, or has that mind that just doesn't shut off, these products are great for that also. So hopefully you've got your paper out, and I love that it gives you how to use it. If you're one that is waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and whether it's your organs starting back up, which is my belief, or maybe you need to go to the bathroom, you'll want to be able to have this stuff right next to the bed so that you can put it on. And here I'm going to just say Serenity Sleep Stick and put it on. I put it on my wrist because I sleep with my wrist next to my face, and it just helps me go right back to sleep. You guys, sleep is so important in all areas of our learning, our performance, our mood. And so I really think this is something that if we can help people get better sleep, deeper sleep, they're going to be far ahead. Okay, now mental wellness. So if we are not sleeping, not eating, if we're, feeling overwhelmed from all of the things that are getting us, it's tough. And I love these products. One of my most favorite, you guys, and again, I could probably talk about 20 different oils right now, but I know that for time's sake and for overwhelm, I want to kind of limit it. So Melissa, if you know somebody who deals with dark thoughts, doesn't want to get up out of bed, wants to be alone, feels like there's no hope, Melissa is the number one essential oil that I recommend. For the last few years, we've done a Melissa challenge for 21 days. And the first time we did it, I'm thinking, I'm pretty happy. Like, I do all these things. I meditate and I journal and I'm grateful, and I don't really need it. And yet I'm thinking, well, if I'm, having everyone else do it, I should do it too. So I did the challenge, and about 3 days in, just putting a drop of Melissa on my thumb in the roof of my mouth, hold it there for about 20 seconds. It instantly goes into the bloodstream and direct up to the brain. And about 3 days in, I'm going, I physically feel different. Like, I'm excited, I'm happy. And it's one of a hack for Melissa is it's highly antiviral. So, and getting it in your mouth, you're going to have so many benefits for your kids. So it also is in a small bottle. So it's 85 drops. It's in a 5 ml. And a lot of times I'll take some Melissa and I'll dilute it by at least a fourth. So if I put 25 drops into a bottle, I'll put 75 drops of fractionated coconut oil with it, because it's that potent and that effective. You don't need a lot. That's also why when I get my drop, I just put my thumb on the top of the bottle, and that's the residue that's on my thumb. I don't actually drip it onto my thumb, because a lot of times I might get 1 or 2 drops and I don't really need that much. Now, if you know or have somebody that just really struggles with some of those things that I mentioned earlier, then it's worth the investment. And maybe 1 drop in the morning, 1 drop at night before they go to bed. In one case, I had someone who was using one drop 3 times a day. You guys, it was a game changer, life saver for them. So definitely look into it. Adaptive is another one that I really wanted to talk about here. Keep in mind that we have an entire system for our mood, but adaptive, you guys, it's all in one. People who use this, if you're feeling overwhelmed or you just have a lot going on, I was listening to a webinar a little bit earlier today, and they were talking about getting shingles and having eczema and different rashes and just having their body ache from being stressed and tensed all the time. And one of their solutions was taking an adaptive capsule, 2 adaptive capsules every morning. Now, of course, I'm going to always say start with one and just see how you feel. I have a son who takes 2 of these every morning, and he gets really great results. So you'll see here there's a capsule, there's a roller bottle, which has been perfectly diluted again for just wearing it like a perfume. And then there's a pure essential oil that comes in a 15 ml bottle. It's not diluted, it's 100% pure oil, which would be perfect to add to like a foot soak or a bath soak, or you could even put it in your hands and go into a spa. And diffuser. You could add it to different blends. You could put it in different roller bottles. You can see here that it helps. It does have GABA, which is a now neurotransmitter that naturally helps to calm the brain and to promote mental well-being and relaxation. So many good things here, you guys. And then, of course, we can't leave out the kids. They've got steady. So I remember a gal working for me, and she was in charge of a dance club. And she would have kids everywhere from, 3 years old, Tammy, dancing? And all the way up to moms with kids, and they would perform, at all of these different events. And it was a Hispanic group, and they did absolutely beautiful dance. But it's a lot of work, and it's you got kids of all ages, and so they were using Deep Blue for their feet that were hurting. They were using Steady or Balance for calming their nerves before they went out for a performance. And so think of these kids that are, or adults that are in, maybe they're doing a book report for the first time, or performing in the Rose Bowl parade with a band. These products can all support in calming their nerves and making them feel supported and balanced and grounded. And the best part, you guys, there are no side effects. None. So you don't have to worry about over-the-counter stuff, or there's a lot of people who will take a capsule or a pill of some kind, and what it does is it makes them have no feeling. They don't have any emotion. They don't care about what's going on around them, or they're tired and drowsy. And then what in the flip side of that is then they're taking something to then wake them up and get them going and have them be excited. So with our essential oils, we don't have to worry about that. They're all safe, they're tested, they're something that I would recommend to everyone, and I have full confidence that you get good results. Okay, so then one of the other things that I really wanted to touch on tonight is nutrition. So many of us and them and people who are on the go constantly. Gosh, you guys, we're on the go constantly. We need things that are quick, that our bodies are able to absorb 100%, and that they are going to have nutrition value, that they're not full of a bunch of, fairy dust and chemicals, and that they're, really great. So for a 2-minute morning routine, you guys, it's so quick and so easy. doTERRA has put together a packet which is on the go, and it is just packed full of fruits and vegetables and vitamins and minerals and everything that your body needs. And so if you have somebody that's on the go, or maybe it's halfway through the day and they still have, their day's just starting and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. With confidence, you can take one of these VMG packets, mix it up with your water, put it in a smoothie, and it's going to give you that extra energy that your body actually absorbs and is able to utilize the nutrition and turn it into something good. There are so many products out there, you guys, that are just filled with garbage. Like, just because it says something on the label, we've been talking a lot about this lately. I work with a natural nutrition here in our town, and she was saying how hard it is to trust any of the products that have been around, tried and true for years, because these big companies are coming in and buying them, changing the formula, but they're not having to notify you. They don't have to tell you that the change is there. And we've been trusting the products for years. How many of you guys know Gatorade? Like Gatorade, when it was first brought out, it was in a glass bottle. It was made with lemon juice and water. And now there isn't a hint of anything natural in it. It's in a plastic container full of sugars, has, zero benefit for us. And I'm going to talk about our Recharge. So Recharge is something that I have fallen in love with. I'm probably one of their best customers. As a matter of fact, our team, our group, we won a trophy at convention last year or a couple of years ago because we had introduced this to the most people during that time. You guys, I love it. It's not only got potassium and magnesium, but it's got natural flavors, natural color. It's delicious, and it really does have everything you need for hydration. Now, if you are a very active person or you know somebody, I was able to attend a presentation from a college coach, and he said between Recharge and MetaPower Mito 2 Max, his athletes, their performance completely changed and got so much better when they put these two in. And the best part was it didn't make them jittery. They didn't have to worry about that caffeine and that adrenaline rush and everything else. And he also noticed that their recovery was much quicker by using these products. Those are all things that athletes want. And as a parent, that's what I want for my athletes. Okay. Okay, I told you I had something really exciting. So if you're watching this in the month of August 2026, from the 17th to the 28th, doTERRA is offering us a smashing good deal in helping to get our households stocked up for that season, that time of year. Maybe we're gifting like the On Guard wipes that I was talking about to the school teachers or daycares, or this is also another really great thing. I just got asked to donate to a child advocacy program here in town, and I filled that basket full of On Guard products, the roller bottles, things that I knew would be able to help anyone during this season who got the basket. The kids collection. We've also got the Pilot diffuser with wild orange. You guys can't always get the Pilot. The Pilot is really great, perfect for a dorm room, a locker, a classroom, a study area, the library, because what happens is it's small enough to fit in your cup holder, but when you plug it in, it charges, and then once it's charged, you can unplug it and take it anywhere you want. So another just super, super great thing for you or to stock up and give as a gift. And when you purchase that, you're getting wild orange. Now, wild orange is uplifting, it's happy, it's citrusy. I've yet to find one person in the last 16 years that hasn't loved wild orange. So, again, we're talking about the locker rooms or the dorm rooms, and, maybe you've got somebody that your daughter or son is sharing a room with that maybe their hygiene isn't the best. Well, this little diffuser, you don't have to worry about burning a candle or anything else. It's safe, it's effective, and everyone can benefit. All right, you guys, so this product is 15% off while supplies last. And of course, we've got some other things that are in there too, so make sure you go into your office if you already have your account and look around and see what else is on sale. Okay, I want to just say thank you you guys for showing up and for being here tonight. I know that one of the things I'm super passionate about is if we have our product and it's sitting in a drawer somewhere, we won't get any results. And again, when I was sending my kids off to school or when my kids were, in sports and all that, I just would have given anything to be able to have the products and the knowledge that I have now, because it would have saved us so many visits to the doctor at different places because I didn't have it. And so that's why I have passion to share. So I'm going to stop the share, and then we are going to open up for any kind of questions, comments. If you guys have something you'd like to share, I would love for you guys to share with us.
I love I'm going to just talk about those pilot diffusers, you guys. I love getting them. And I've got a couple that I always, anytime we have a special, whether they come with a company oil or something, I get a couple so that I have them on hand. And to gift because they're super nice. They fit in all of your cup holders in your vehicles. And like Haley was saying, it charges. So when you're traveling and you moms with young kids, or I have grandkids or whatever, already my mom, who's 88 years old, raising a little boy who has been in school for 2 days. And this afternoon she called me saying, oh, I feel horrible already, but they've gone to open house, they've gone to things like that. And um, she needs a new diffuser, but I love that I'm going to be able to give her, restock mine. I have a pilot in the closet, but I'm going to give her that. And now with the On Guard stuff, she also has cancer and all the things that she needs the On Guard Plus pills daily. So I'm going to just stock up on that. But I love the pilot diffusers, you guys. I mean, they're amazing. They're so handy. I just want to
Super
talk about
good,
that.
Tammy. So with your grandkids, what are some tips, or or maybe your adult kids too? It's like, um, you know,
Well, because my adult children who have partners, the partners have not been brought up around me and the oils or anything like that. But I love that I also give all of them the On Guard Plus pills because unfortunately, that society throw me a pill and they're happy with it. So, what I do love in case somebody starts to feel a little bit yucky, they're able to jump on whatever's being passed around, maybe with the On Guard pills. But with my new grandkids too, the hand sanitizer is something that everybody gets. And I love when they have these kind of specials because I buy extras and they're great for stocking stuffers, the hand sanitizer. They're great for the teachers' gifts and things like that. That I know one of my grandsons has given a pilot diffuser to a teacher who he said he knew already used oils. And she said, we can't use that in our school, but I love that it's in my car. So, just because your school says that you can't diffuse or do candles or scents, that doesn't mean that that parent or teacher or lunch lady. I work in the lunch program here, and I make repurposed bottles, and I make little toilet sprays for all of the lunch ladies. So when I get that wild orange, or I get use my free oils from being on rewards orders, I love just making whatever I have extra as sprays. So,
awesome. Thank you so much, Tammy.
yep,
Okay, we've
yep.
got Laura that has her hand raised. So Laura, if you want to unmute. Okay, so maybe she accidentally raised her hand. I'm not really sure. Okay, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go real fast. So everybody's school list consists of Lysol wipes. You know, the Kleenex, gotta provide 2 Kleenex boxes and Lysol wipes. And of course, I'm that mom that refuses. And I was telling Haley, I said it was so funny. We went to our open house and I said, "Hey, I'm that mom. So if you see the On Guard wipes, so instead of two, we provide four for each classroom, and then we obviously provide four hand sanitizers. And his teacher, Jeremiah's teacher, was the one, or Levi, sorry, was the one that couldn't believe that they could wipe the desks. And I said, yeah, you can actually wipe the apples as well. And so it was really, really cool to have that conversation. And then we went across the hallway and did Jeremiah's. And the teacher apparently has already come over that Levi had or Jeremiah had last year and said, "Hey, is your mom going to provide stuff for the teachers that you don't have this year?" So it's getting around. So I'm trying really, really hard to get the Lysol wipes out of there. Jeremiah, one, is allergic to that. And two, it's really, really bad for your immune system. It's really, really toxic. And so if there's anything that you buy from the sale, get the wipes. Get the hand sanitizer. They're very inexpensive, and give those to the teachers, give those to the kiddos because it's amazing. As soon as they get out of football practice, they know they each have a sanitizer in their seat. They spray the inside of their helmets and their mouthpiece. They're so nice. And I liked how Tammy said that in the comments. She reuses those spray bottles, and that's what she's making with, the jock itch spray and all of those sprays. You can take those rollers, put them in a reusable or an empty On Guard spray, and it's perfect, and it's very versatile.
So many easy things that we can use, right? And so I'm going to share this with you. So we have this little foaming pump. It's 50 ml, and I put the foaming hand wash in here. What I love about that, so we've got the hand sanitizer. I mean, I love that doTERRA has given us so many options. But this foaming wash, I carry one with me because if I go somewhere and get an apple, say I'm at, I don't know, lunch or something, I'll take it and you can squirt it on there, wipe it off like this. You don't have to rinse it and you can just eat it. There's so many things that are on the outside of our produce that, plastic sprays and things to keep them from going different colors and stuff. And so it's really good. And if it's fun, like this foaming wash, sometimes kids love it because it, foams up. And and on the school bus or road trips or whatever, they can just squirt it on their hands and they don't have to rinse it or anything. It's just go. And so, yeah, so good. All right, thank you for sharing that, Sarah. Okay, anybody else have anything that they would like to add or questions? All right, well, the sale goes on for 10 more days. I'm sure that as certain things sell out, I think you can get up to 5 of each thing or something. But I would too. Just getting ready to do this donation basket the other day. I'm like, what is something that people are going to actually use, not just throw away, or that it's like an extra one or a dented something or whatever. It's like I wanted to add value to the people who are getting it. Another thing is like, gosh, in your school, in your area, I know Bobby just got done working a health fair at I believe a high school. The people are wanting to know what else is possible, what else can they have, and when you're buying it through your doTERRA rewards, you can get 10 to 30% back on everything that you're purchasing. So then you can also turn those points into something else. And so you want to do better and be better and do good and feel good, right, Sarah? It's like we can get these products and give them to some of these organizations. When it's back to school, we have one community and schools local organization. It's like, you know what? Here's 10 packs of On Guard sanitizer wipes. You don't need instructions. Anybody can use them. Or the hand sanitizers. You've got a favorite school, or maybe you've got a teacher that you've had. So in my conversation with Sarah, she's like, my kids get different teachers every year. And so it's a new opportunity to share something that she loves, something that her kids love. And her kids have enrolled their bus driver, their school teachers, because they have been using this stuff since they were babies. So anyway, you guys, I hope that you found tonight valuable. And this will be up in our YouTube channel. What I'm going to challenge you guys to is once it's up there, go in there, go to Haley B Essentials. You can find us. I normally have the link up here. I think it's like I don't know. I've got numbers behind my name. And share it with a couple of people. Let's help spread the word instead of spread germs. Let's, and when I get on an airplane, I always have an On Guard throat drop in my mouth, and I always take the On Guard Plus before I get on. And I'm passing them to my neighbors, like whether I know them or not. Would you like one? Would you like some hand sanitizer? Because I want to be able to share the goodness and not share the germs. All right, you guys, have a great night. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.